and welcome back to Honda Doble in Coulsdon. Have I got a treat for you today? Or maybe you won't see it that way. I thought I'd take out something a little bit different. And this is the Yamaha Niken. This is the GT version. It's a different looking bike. Very different looking bike indeed. I do like the colour of this one actually. Yes, it's a bulbous thing. I mean, we could spend ages looking around it, but I think the best thing is just to get on and ride it and see what we think. I'll be honest, this wasn't my first choice today. I did have a different choice, but that didn't come to fruition. But that will do. That's a video that will be coming, probably potentially next week. But I won't go into too much detail and spoil that. But yeah, they saw they had this. I thought, you know what? I've seen them about for years. I'm going to give it a go. Because the likelihood is people watching this wouldn't be interested in this. I thought, you know what? It'd be good to give you guys something that you probably wouldn't be interested in. Yeah, let me do the dirty work, right, and see if I like it. Well, first impressions. I've been ignored by a biker already, so that's probably not a good sign. First impressions. Does it feel like a motorcycle? Yes, it does. I suppose. Feel like a motorcycle. It's obviously a three-wheel Trike-esque reverse trike. I'm just trying to see how it. I mean, what it feels like. This doesn't really feel like anything, really. I don't quite know how to. It does feel really stable. I'll give it that. It does feel really stable. Has it been a massive seller for Yamaha? I don't think so, to the point that they've discontinued it. So I think we could probably say no, not a massive seller. Today, this is a used bike. This isn't a brand new Yamaha, but it's an absolutely immaculate one, in fairness to it. It hasn't got a mark on it. It's in beautiful condition. I'll be honest, I haven't seen many of these on the road. Very few, in fact. Very few, to the point of I can't actually think of any that I've seen on the road, but because it's the sort of thing you probably would think, oh, I remember seeing one of those and blah blah blah. But I may have seen one going over on the crossing to France. I may have seen one then, the older version. I mean, everything about it is big. The clock looks tiny in comparison to like the bulbous rest of it. So this one's got all the bits on it. We've got crash bars, we've got a bit of everything on this one. Yeah, the previous owner obviously, threw the kitchen sink at it. Seats comfortable, peg position's comfy. Can you class this as a motorcycle though? It's got three wheels. Say this was not planned today, so yes, we're going to have to do a little bit more on the due diligence front. But I saw it and I thought, do you know what? Let's do something a little bit different. Let's mix it up a bit. So I hope you appreciate something this different today, guys. I think this weighs in around about 267 kilos, so it's no lightweight. But when you're on it, does it feel like a trike or anything? No, it doesn't. It feels like a motorbike, just very wide at the front motorbike. Obviously, you've got twice as much contact patch at the front of the bike as you would of a normal motorcycle, so obviously braking and cornering and stuff feels very different because you have got a lot more grip. But we're not going to be pushing this to the limit, so I just want to let you know how it feels from my perspective of riding it as a normal motorcycle. And it's weird because I don't know how to explain it. I think we need to do a little bit more. I'm trying to, yeah, I mean, it really turns in when you turn it in as well, which is, I thought it'd be a little bit slower to turn in than what it does, but it doesn't. It doesn't feel any heavier at the front, of sort of, you know, sort of manoeuvring the bike when it's moving. But obviously, when you want to get the bike out the garage or whatever else, I think you probably will sort of feel the weight a bit. We're going to need to get some petroleum first of all, guys. She's very low. Yes, a funny old thing, isn't it? For your viewing pleasure. Hiya. How are you? Good, thank you very much. Number 2, please. Oh, how embarrassing. How embarrassing. Is it not bad enough I'm riding a trike, talking to myself in my helmet, then setting off the alarm at the same time? Oh. I'm going to get a reputation in my area. I can't wait to get on the road again. It does feel heavy at the front, I won't lie to you. I think you have to ride it a bit differently, whereas you know, on the motorcycle you're like very conscious of, obviously. Whoa, who's going to roll back then? Of yeah, you've just got one wheel in front of you. You've got way more stability, so I don't think you have to manhandle it as much as probably what you think you do. Alright, this is a really crappy bit here. Is he going to let us go? Right, let's get on the anchors. Yeah, they do the job. It's great to say I've ridden one though. Has it ever been on my wish list or thought list, or have I gone on to MCN and read about it, or have I gone and watched any YouTube videos? I may have watched a YouTube video when they first come out. I think it was like 2017. Might have been slightly before that, maybe 2016, but I remember them coming out and I remember looking into it. I remember seeing a picture of someone doing a wheelie on one. Obviously that won't be happening today. We will be riding Sensar Barley. These mirrors are like, I mean, if the bike wasn't sticking out enough, and then we have the mirrors sticking out like an extra foot each way as well. I mean, this is an immaculate one. If you're after a used one, this is as good as new. Alright, let's give it a bit of a grunt pull. Do you know what? It really, that clutch really feels like it struggles a little bit with the weight of the bike. It's like, go on, go. Be interested to see if they do these bikes suffer with any sort of early clutch wear or anything. Now, who is this going to appeal to? That is an excellent question. Do I feel like this bike gives you sort of superior feel over a normal motorcycle? No, I don't. I can't say I do, to be honest. It just feels like I've got a lot more weight to deal with. But when you do want to get on the anchors, then it does make, you know, a bit more sense from that perspective. But I think 90% of the time you're not really going to notice the front. All you're going to notice is the weight of the front. But I suppose if you're riding in weather all year round, dreadful weather, you know, where it's a little bit frosty on the road, or it's yeah, you're hammering it down rain wise, then this would make sense, just for that sort of feel of more stability. Whether it's there or not, I mean, I think that's out for debate at the moment. I don't feel any more like leaning the bike. Does it lean? It doesn't lean in. It does lean, but the bike, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's very odd. Okie doke. We are here with the Niken. We've just been out for a short ride. I thought we'd give you a bit of a walk around the bike. So, yes, we'll start with the front, shall we? So, the wheels are not far enough apart from each other to be considered a trike. So, it is still considered a motorcycle, obviously. So, you do have to wear a helmet and abide by all rules that you would with a motorcycle. So, we just clear up any sort of maybe questions that might be asked from that sort of point of view. But I'm sure everybody probably knows about this bike by now anyway. It's not exactly new to the market. It's actually been discontinued. This is the GT version. They've got the 850cc engine. It's got 113 horsepower. I think it's around about 65, 66 pounds-feet of torque, which for 270 kilos, it could probably do with a little bit more torque, I would be honest, but there you go. That's just my thoughts on the matter. As I say, this is the GT one, so it comes with all the touring parts, which is nice. I mean, this one, in fairness, is immaculate. It has got every bit of aftermarket, protection you could possibly look for. If you're after one, this is the one. It's in a beautiful colour as well. Super low miles. So yeah, check out doble.co.uk for that. That's where the bike's just come in for them. So yeah, it's an odd looking thing, isn't it? As I say, I've only had a short ride. I thought I'd just bring it back first so we could have a proper walk around somewhere quiet with it first. And just sort of get my sort of thought, because this wasn't what I was supposed to be taking out today. So it's kind of cool that I'm taking something I wasn't expecting to. So yeah, I'm as caught on the hop as you are today, guys. So it's kind of interesting. It has an appeal, let's be honest, because I like things that are a bit strange and a bit quirky. But it does look a little bit like a Yamaha Tri-City from the front. So yeah, I thought I'd give you a quick walk around. This is a 2021 model. This has got all the tank bag with it as well, and obviously all the panniers and yeah, all the bells and whistles. So yeah, it'd be interesting to know what the owner part X this in for, actually, just to see what their thoughts were with it and what they went to instead, because obviously what they went to was a Honda. So there's nothing in the Honda range that's anything like this. So yeah, guys, get in the comments. I'd be really interested to see what you think about this bike. As I say, it's an anomaly to the point that, yeah, it's been discontinued as well. So we need to do more miles on it. Let's jump back on the bike. Let's do some proper miles and see what we actually think. Right, okay, that was a neighbour of mine who likes his bikes. He's got a Triumph trophy. And he was just asking me what my thoughts were on this bike. Well, to be honest, I don't really know still, to be honest. I've not had enough of a ride on it yet to really know. But it's great that people have an interest in it, because it is an interesting bike. But I'll probably cut the conversation I've just had with him, but I'll tell you what I basically said. He asked what engine it was, said it was the 890cc MT-09 engine. What did I think of it? My first sort of thoughts when he said, what do I think of it? My first thoughts was it's sort of neither Arthur nor Martha. It's not really a trike. It's not really a bike. And I understand that stability-wise, yes, it gives you that little bit of extra, sort of confidence at, touring higher speeds and stuff. But I'm not sure that's where most people need their confidence. I think a lot of the confidence comes from riding slower and around sort of slower roads and manoeuvring it, because if you're a bit older or you find it hard to sort of handle a bike's just weight of it, but not so much the handling of the bike, then well, this is a bit of the best, the worst of both worlds, because it is heavy and a bit sort of cumbersome to move around. Yeah, and then that sort of high speeds, well, yeah, it gives you more stability from that sort of point of view. But watch this guy here. Yeah, I mean, if it was like a trike, for instance, that sort of stayed up on its own, and you could walk away from it and you could sort of wheel it in and out, you're not sort of using the balance to sort of move as you would a normal bike, then I'd probably understand it a bit more. But it's not. It is more cumbersome to move around. So if you're buying a bike because you're lacking a bit in confidence, well, yeah, I find it just a bit difficult to get my head around from that point of view. All right, let's give it a bit of beanage up this hill. yeah, I mean, it does feel more stable, but I'm not like, oh wow, this is, you know, game-changing type stuff. It doesn't feel that, you know, that sort of different for me. I mean, I feel like I'm being really harsh on this bike, because I love the fact that Yamaha have done something different, you know, something interesting, you know. And I love things that are interesting and different, and I always say in my videos, I am not a naysayer. I'm always open to these different things and stuff. So yeah, I'm a little bit, yeah, I don't know. Let's take it round this roundabout at a bit of a lick to see if we feel any more confident. Yeah, it does feel more. But I mean, if you're buying this bike because, you know, you're not confident and, you know, enough for a bike, well, it's not that confident enough, inspiring. It won't. It's not that much of a game changer. So yeah, but I get it. If it was hammering down with rain, or, you know, you live in, you know, and you ride during sort of, you know, winter season, and sometimes there's sort of snow on the road, or a little bit of snow or something, and then yeah, then, you know, this would definitely give you more stability. Make you feel more stable anyway, I think. But I think it's enough of a difference that you'd ride it and go, well, I can never go back to a, you know, a normal two-wheel bike after this. No. Thing is, as well, is you feel the extra weight at low speed, so you do have to manoeuvre it a bit more. You know, you do feel like you're manoeuvring it. You do feel like you're, like little roundabouts like there, yeah, you can feel like the extra grip. And as I say, I try and do these reviews as I use a bike, so, you know, I'm not taking it on a 200-mile run, or, you know, a trip to France or whatever else, but, you know, I can sort of see how it would sort of fit in that way. And let's be honest, on a motorway, you're on a motorway, you know, you're sitting there anyway. You're not going to feel the extra stability on the motorway. I doubt you would, to be honest. If anything, I think you'd probably feel a little bit less stability, just because, you know, there's a lot of, you know, at least with a, you know, front wheel of a bike, it's a lot more sort of aerodynamic than what's going on with this. I mean, we've got quite, you know, a gaping hole, and, you know, two 15-inch wheels, and then we've got all the fork legs that go around that. I can't see that being more aerodynamic than just having a front wheel and sitting there on the motorway, you know. So yeah, I'm just a little bit perplexed. Because, as I say, it's not that much of a difference that it's going to get you off that two-wheel bike that you're thinking, oh, you know what, I just can't handle a bike anymore, or I just fancy a little bit more grip from the front end. I mean, as I say, I feel like I've been a little bit harsh with the bike, but I just want to be honest with you. I don't want to sort of, you know, tell you anything other than what I'm thinking. That's the most sprightly it's felt, actually. We'll have a fudge about with the modes, shall we? What's this here? The screen is like... Right, okay, I'm fudging about with the modes. Sport modes. Rain modes. Yeah, the screen isn't very bright either. I mean, it must be because it's quite sunny today, but it's not a particularly clear colour they've chosen. I mean, I am wearing sunglasses as well, in fairness, but if I just take those down a bit and look, yeah, see, I think the numbers could do with being a bit brighter as well. I mean, you might be able to change that in the settings. I think the summary for me is I don't think it does anything good enough to warrant it having three wheels, is basically the crux of it. I don't think it feels, you know, But as I say, if you're using it in different weather and whatever else, then maybe. It just feels quite cumbersome. You know, if you feel like you need a little bit of help with stability and whatever else, then making something a little bit more difficult to handle probably isn't going to do you too many favours. Right, let's have a little fudge around here again with modes. 2, 1. Oh, okay. I'll go to mode 1. It's just not very clear. I mean, it's just not the clearest of screens either. I mean, it looks nice to look at, but I mean, look at the size space you got there. You could have put a bigger screen in there, but I'm sure this is just off of one of the Yamaha range anyway, and this ignition barrel looks like a real afterthought. All the switchgear though feels nicely made. Alright, here we are. We've got the heated grips on now as well. We're in the sportiest mode. So when you do jump on the anchors, it does really obviously bed in. Those two 15-inch wheels do really, you know, I think it's 80% more grip they reckon you get off of a bike like this, because obviously it's not as big as a 17-inch front wheel, so not quite twice as much. Yeah, so my thoughts on this are really, it feels compromised. You know, it doesn't feel as good as a motorbike, it doesn't feel as good as a trike would, you know, with sort of the stability front. So yeah, for me it's a bit neither here nor there. As I say, I've not had the longest test ride on it. As I say, it does, you know, it does give you confidence that there's a lot of front end there, but you've also got to wrestle with it a bit more than you would with a motorbike as well. So that's where I'm talking about the sort of being quite compromised. I found it, yeah, I've enjoyed it. I must say I've enjoyed it. Would I buy one? No. No, not at all, I'm afraid. Like an older guy asked me the other day, he was saying, oh, look, you know, he wants to buy a bike, but, you know, he's lost a little bit of confidence recently, you know, what should he buy? It's not one of these, it's too heavy, you know, it's a bit disappointing, but you know what, there's a bum for every seat, as they say, and maybe I'm missing the point with this. And I'd love to hear from a Niken owner, someone who's actually done some serious miles, not an idiot like me who's just jumped on it and, you know, spent an hour or so riding it. Someone who's really had, you know, got to grips with it. I think if you were riding this around town, you'd know you've ridden it around town after a day. It's not flickable, but it's an interesting thing, and it's very impressive that, you know, Yamaha put all this sort of money into R&D to create something as interesting and different as this as well. I just think it's just been compromised by probably the rules that it needs to abide by. You know, the wheels have to be this wide apart for it to be a motorcycle, and you know, and all this sort of stuff. Oh, then it, you know, obviously it can't stand up on its own either, because if it did, probably then it'd have to come under a trike. So you know, it's got, you know, it's got a bit of the worst of both worlds, is the way I see it. Yeah, the negatives outweigh the positives of having something like this, I think. But as I say, I'm not a naysayer. I was really hoping to really like this and say, you know what, that'd be a really cool bike to own. And it is a cool bike. It must be a massively cool bike to own. We'll throw it into this corner a bit here. I mean, if there was a wet drain or something here, you would then, you know, you wouldn't feel, you know, you definitely have a bit more, you know, confidence-wise of going over it than you would on a normal bike. Yeah, so that's my review of this this Yamaha 890 Touring GT 3-wheeler trike, whatever you want to call it. So I'm glad I've been out on it today anyway. I'm glad I've still had fun, still enjoyed it. But there are, to be honest, a lot better machines for your money, and you've got to remember that this new, they stopped making them now, even the last 2024 models, but they were like, with the GT, which is what was the run out model, was GT only you could get, they were like £15,500. So I think the used market might give you information on to what the market actually thinks of this bike. But anyway guys, I've enjoyed it, the weather's out, I've had a great time still. Let me know what you want me to test ride next. As I say, I've got an idea of what I want to do next, but give me a pen. If there's, you know, some people jump in the comments and say, oh, I want to see this or I want to see that, have a look on noble.co.uk. I'll put the link up there now. Have a look at their used section, and yeah, see what you want me to get out on and have a ride on. The weather's supposed to be better this week anyway, so I'll be able to get out and do another review video. Yeah, but guys, as always, like and subscribe. Boring to say, boring to hear, but it massively helps me. So yes, thank you so much, and I really appreciate the lovely comments I get, and then the likes, and I'm getting more subscribers now, and yeah, things are picking up a bit with that, so that's really good. So, and that's you know, everyone who's listening and watching, so yeah, I can't thank you enough. So yeah, as long as people are enjoying it, then I'll keep doing it. So yeah, again guys, thanks very much, and I'll catch you in the next video.